Well, you want to know how popular Ichiro is here at Safeco Field. This is the Ichi roll on sale at the concession stands inside the ballpark. It's 8 pieces. There's salmon in there, a bunch of other delicious stuff. Run you about $9, Rick. Looks pretty good, and a hot item. As much as a raw item can be, I guess.
You know, you could put Ichiro's name on anything here in Seattle, and you could sell it. But you're right, that looks good.
Posada to lead off the 4th inning, 1-0 New York. Ichiro's immense popularity in Japan, something only the Tom Cruise, Britney Spears, Madonna, Rick Sutcliffe crowd can really appreciate.
I can't get over being around him several times this year, how funny he is in the clubhouse. I mean, if he watches you for 3 or 4 minutes, he can imitate anybody. It reminds you of Jim Carrey.
Deep drive hooked into right field, headed for the wall, and it slams into the bottom part of the fence. Posada heading for second. Ichiro's throw, the tag, and not in time. He may have slid away from the tag. It looked like a perfect throw from Ichiro. And here comes Lou Piniella with the first argument of the ALCS. He wants to know why is Posada not out at second base, but it's a double.
It's a different Lou Piniella than in the past. He was not ejected from a game all year long. He has calmed down. He said, I've changed with the times. But in the past, Lou Piniella might have been thrown out on a play like this. The throw certainly beat him, but it was a tremendous slide by Posada, who looked like he got in there. And the problem was where Guillen caught the ball. That throw was on the money. Take the throw on the bag. Don't go get it. It takes too much time to get back to it. Look at where he's at. Why isn't he on the bag? If he's on the bag, he catches it there, he makes the tag, he's out. But Gary Cederstrom was right because of what Guillen did. He's safe.
That was the right call by Cederstrom.
And it was
absolutely
the
right.
wrong positioning by the shortstop.
Of course, Guillen has been out for 2.5 weeks. Hard to think his positioning would be rusty because of that.
Well, there are a lot of outfielders that you need to help by maybe stretching to get that throw, but not the right fielder here in Seattle.
So it's into the books as a leadoff double for Posada. And a count on Paul O'Neill, 1-0. The Yankees have out-hit Seattle 4-0. It's low and 2-0. And another look at the close play at second.
Take a look at where he's at. All of you young infielders, remember that. If the throw is on line, let it get to the bag. It takes a lot less time for that throw to continue than it does for you to get it and bring it to the bag.
A beautiful play by Ichiro in right field to take that ball off the bottom part of the fence and come up gunning. Certainly not his fault as it's slapped foul by O'Neill.
I think RC is making a mistaken judgment here. He knows that O'Neill, with nobody out and a man on second, wants to pull the ball and get him over. I think his chances are better in letting O'Neill do that. You've got your infield deep and playing him to pull. Let him hit a ground ball there or a fly ball to right. Because the guy coming up next has been struggling, that being Scott Brocious. He popped up on the infield in his first at bat. You should be able, with these conditions, to keep him on the infield again.
O'Neill 0 for 1. He's flying out today, the 2-1 pitch. Get deep to right field. This one has a chance to get out. Sailing to right, it's gone. A line drive homer by Paul O'Neill. A 2-run shot, and the Yankees take the lead 3-0 in game 1. O'Neill torching one into the stands. And the first 2 Yankees here in the 4th inning have jumped all over Aaron Seeley. Posada hitting it to the wall, and O'Neill going up and over. A 2-run shot. 3-0 New York.
What a warrior Paul O'Neill has been for these New York Yankees. Last year, coming into the end of the year, they figured that was it. But the job he did in the postseason and the type of attitude that he has on that bench and in that clubhouse, Joe Torre wanted to keep around one more time. He may not be done yet.
Brocious chops one down off the plate. Boone will corral it. And that's out number 1. Well, the Yankees have had some swings off Seeley. In the first inning, Knobloch with a base hit sharply to right center. Jeter flied out deep to left center.
Well, it was an off-speed pitch once again. We'll take a look at Dan Wilson where he's sitting and look at what he has to do. Once again, he has to reach up and he reaches back to the heart of the plate. Seeley just not able to command particularly that fastball, and when he fell behind, O'Neill got more aggressive and got one he liked.
It brings up Soriano. He's single in the second inning, 1 for 1. So O'Neill with the first home run of this league championship series.
Why that's so big? Lou Piniella's sitting over there going, well, my hands are tied now. You're down 1-0. You can hit and run. You can give everybody the green light and let them run. But because of O'Neill hitting that 2-run homer, now you got to sit back and hope one of your guys can hit a home run as well and get you close.
A real issue for Aaron Seeley so far has been his inability to get the leadoff man. The number 1 hitter has reached base in an inning 3 out of 4 times. 2 of them have scored. The 3-0 pitch in there. 3-1 on Soriano. Knobloch up next. For the Yankees, 3 runs, 5 hits. Seattle without a run or a hit. Foul back, full count. Soriano a few years ago playing in the Futures game, which is the showcase for up-and-coming minor league stars on the precipice of a major league career. At that time, he was a shortstop in the Yankee system. After the Futures game, somebody asked him, what do you think about playing shortstop for the Yankees? He said, I think I'm going to learn how to play second base. Because Mr. Jeter has the job. Sharply hit, but gobbled up by Bell. Back to the bag, and he gets it. Fine stop by Bell. That ball was raked as well by Soriano. And there are 2 away.
Well, it's really difficult to walk Soriano, but Aaron Seeley came within 1 pitch of doing that. They had a pool on Soriano during the year on how many times he would walk, and one of his teammates, Louis Sojo, picked 5 walks all year long. Well, he looked right to begin with, but eventually Soriano did walk 29 times.
Oh, he really piled them up.
Yeah.
Knobloch with a perfect day going. He's 2 for 2 with a pair of singles, 1 driving in a run. The first Yankee run of the day in the second inning.
Even when he makes outs, he makes the pitcher work. And in particular, that being the starting pitcher.
Flies that one softly to left center field. That one might drop, and it will in front of Buhner. Heading for second, Knobloch. He slides in, he's safe. The second Yankee double in the inning. Not hit hard, but in a perfect spot, tucked inside that left field line and out of the range of Jay Buhner, who has a bad foot to begin with. The Yankees with 3 extra base hits in this inning.
Take a look at the swing, though. Look at how aggressive. Immediately that left foot came out. Those hips opened up. Knobloch wanted to hit that ball out of the park. Seeley has just not done anything as far as moving the hitter off home plate so that you can make a mistake on the outer half and get away with it.
He allows the 2-base hit to Knobloch, who is 3 for 3. And has to face Jeter with a man in scoring position. And first base open. Boy, tough sledding so far for Seeley in the postseason. He's allowed 11 hits in 5 2/3 innings in the playoffs. But again, he's never won a playoff game. He's 0-4.
I would imagine the biggest fan the Oakland A's had in their divisional series against the Yankees was Aaron Seeley.
Pop foul off to the right. 0-1 on Jeter, who's flying to center and popped up to second.
Talking to him in the clubhouse before the game, that being Aaron Seeley, asking him about his success against the Yankees during the season this year. It was 1-0 against them. He said that start was way back in May. He said, honestly, I don't even remember. Well, there were obviously some things about it that he would help him to remember here this afternoon.
Knobloch leading at second base, and it's up and in and knocking down Jeter. So a hallmark greeting for the Yankees shortstop as he hits the deck. And Seeley shows a little fight here. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, even the fans here in Seattle realize what's going on. The Yankees are basically taking extended batting practice against Seeley. You got to move somebody, and that's the exact way to do it.
Hit toward the middle. tracked down by Guillen, and across the body he sweeps it over to first for out number 3. But the Yankees against Sealy come up with 2 doubles, and Paul O'Neill knocks a 2-run home run to the ballpark. The double Ichiro thought he had himself an out there at second base, and with a man on, O'Neill lines this one into the stands in right. It's the Yankees 3, the Mariners nothing in Game 1 at Safeco. Ichiro Suzuki cannot walk the streets of his hometown of Kobe, Japan without being mobbed. And he has become the most popular player in Seattle Mariners baseball as well. There's a story of Ichiro being rolled up in a carpet and stuffed in the back of a pickup truck so he could be driven safely past a crowd back home in Japan for a date with his future wife. He is the Elvis of Japan, and that's become one of his many nicknames while winning the batting crown for the Seattle Mariners. But his team is looking for a hit here, and it would be their first hit of the day against left-hander Andy Pettitte. 3-0 the Yankees here in the 4th inning, and it's a strike to get started.
Dave, that in itself tells you how much confidence Ichiro has in his ability to play baseball. He had everything he wanted in Japan, but he wanted more, and he's got it. I mean, you try to find a weakness in him, and you might think he struggles against left-handed pitching, as Pettitte is. Well, he hit .318 on the year against left-hander, and 7 of his 12 hits in the AL Divisional Series against Oakland were against left-handed.
On base 14 times in 5 games. And one of those guys that is essentially impossible to defense, Rick, because you could have your shortstop set up in the spot that he hit the ball last, but if he nudges it over 3 feet to the left or right of Derek Jeter here, he's probably got himself an infield hit.
And look at how shallow they are.
Swing and a miss, and Ichiro is down on strikes. The 3rd strikeout for Pettitte today. No hits yet. For the Seattle Mariners, a top hitting team in the American League.
Let's take a look at this at bat. When we talked about how much difference it makes being down 1-0 as opposed to 3. Ichiro taking the first pitch strike. If it was a 1-0 game, he might have tried to do something with it. But then, as you see with 2 strikes, Ichiro, non-characteristically of him, tried to do too much. That was a big swing. He wants to get this crowd back into the ball game.
Nobody in baseball puts the bat on the ball better than Ichiro. The batting champ was the toughest strikeout in the American League among hitters with at least 225 at bats. He practically never strikes out.
Well, there's just a lot of tension in that dugout right now. People saying, wait a minute, we got to put something on the board quickly because we just continue to fall further and further behind.
Carlos Guillen 0 for 1. He has rolled out to second, and 6 of Pettitte's outs have been of the ground ball variety. And only 1 Mariner has even hit the ball out of the infield. 1 down in the 4th inning. Flying into left field, but short. And Knobloch holding up that glove of his to fight off the sun with the 2nd out. Pettitte keeps rolling along. Hey, where can you see some of baseball's greatest plays of the week? How'd you like to get some tips from the game's best players? Well, be sure to tune in to Baseball Max. Each week, Baseball Max brings you the excitement and drama of the game of baseball. In upcoming episodes, we'll recap the 2001 playoffs, including the World Series. That's Baseball Max. Check the TV listings in your country for times and channels. First time I've ever said, check the listings in your country. Jeter gets it onto first base. A beautiful play to Nip Boone. And it's a 1-2-3 inning on just 9 pitches out of Andy Pettitte. Now this is a man in command as the Yankees look to take game 1 on the road at Safeco. It is 3-0 New York. Well, that is the spectacular peak of Mount Rainier, about 45 miles south of Safeco Field. Part of the National Park System here in the Seattle area. That peak 14,400 feet up. Rick and I are going to hike it tomorrow morning. Rick, are we going to hike it? No, I guess we're not.
Tell you what, that mountain looks about as big as the New York Yankees do the Seattle Mariners right now, and they're 3-0 lead. They can't get anything offensively going because it seems like all they're doing is playing defense.
Seattle without a hit against Andy Pettitte. On to the 5th here as we welcome our worldwide audience tuning in from every corner of the globe. Thank you so much for being with us. We hope you're enjoying this telecast of Game 1 of the American League Championship Series. And of course, special thanks and a special hello to our American men and women serving in the military. We're thinking about you. And we're very proud of you. Outside for a ball on Justice, who has grounded out and flied to left. He is 0 for 2.
It's been the biggest change we've seen in baseball the last month. Right up until game time and right after game time, people are watching the news now, as opposed to the sports or other things in the past.
And Rick, I know this is very close to your heart. You've got a brother who is serving overseas as we speak.
Yep.
In the United States Marine Corps. Bernie Williams up next, and then Tino Martinez. This part of the order so far hasn't done much with Seeley. It's been Posada and Knobloch and Paul O'Neill, the 6, 7, and 1 hitters, more than anybody else. Knobloch's had a big day. He's 3 for 3.
Just not able to locate his fastball. Seeing these Yankees and who they are up there at home plate, he's lost his release point.
Punch foul by Justice to hang in there.
Seeley's so good with the command of his fastball and being able to change speeds on it. He had Justice set up for that 2-2 fastball in. He missed with it. Now he's got to go back out over the plate. Ryan Price, the young pitching coach for the Mariners, just done an outstanding job with this club, and in particular that starting rotation.
Well, the American League's top pitching staff. Justice gets a piece.
Well, you just like that pitch there. On a 3-2 pitch, the leadoff hitter, if you can command your fastball in the outer half of the plate, add a little bit, maybe take a little off, you don't have to try to trick everybody as Seeley does there with that 3-2 curveball. It's a good curveball, but how many times can you throw that pitch for a strike to the leadoff hitter with a 3-2 full count?
And he's allowed that leadoff man to reach 3 out of 4 times, and here's another one. Justice taking a walk, the 3rd issued by Seeley today. It's in 5 innings. Ryan Price's starter, Aaron Seeley, has allowed that leadoff man to reach.
He can go a month without walking 3 guys, but if he faces the New York Yankees during that month, that's a whole different story. And if that month happens to be the month of October, well, this is just, it's happened too many times for Seeley. He'll pitch 5 or 6 innings, and he's going to give up 4 runs. Well, he's only given up 3 so far.
Bernie Williams with a walk and a strikeout, 0 for 1. Puts it in off to the right, fouling it away.
Just amazing. Day back in '98, Seeley with the Texas Rangers pitched 6 innings, gave up 4 runs, and lost to the Yankees. In '99, he pitched 5 innings and gave up 4 runs and lost to the Yankees. Well, what happened in the divisional series last year? Well, he was able to get by the Chicago White Sox only to get to the Champions Series and have the Yankees wait. What did he do? He pitched 6 innings and he gave up 4 runs.
And it's been like clockwork for him, but a fly into center field sends back Cameron. This is well struck all the way to the track. Now pulling up, goes down to make the play, almost all the way to his knees. That was not a wind-aided situation there. That was a problem with the sun. Cameron almost went too far back. He almost went all the way to the warning track.
Well, he's got the ability to go over the fence and bring back home runs if needed. And I think he was fooled, as you said, Dave. He thought that ball was going out of the park. He wanted to get there as quickly as he can. And when he went to put on the brakes, he too slipped a little bit. And he is very fortunate that ball. Look at the sunglasses. Look at the glare off the glasses. And now he's just guessing where that baseball is. So fortunate that the outfielders are able to use bigger gloves than anybody else.
So far, a fruitless day for Tino Martinez. Twice he has batted. Twice he has been called out on strike 3.
Tino's got to be thinking, why me? I mean, right there on the very first pitch, Seeley paints the outside corner. Tino's really been the only one today that Seeley has been able to command his pitches to.
1 out, 1 on, and the 0-1 pitch backs him away. 1-1.
Take a look at what he's done in Tino's 2 previous at bats. Here's the first inning. Into the big inning, painted the outside corner. What did he do in the 3rd inning? He needed an out. He paints the inside corner. To start this at bat off here in the 5th inning, he painted the outside corner again.
Justice leading, not being held by Olerud. And that one is tagged to center field. Again, Cameron has to turn tail to the track this time to make the catch. The Yankees have certainly had their swings today as Justice gets back. 2 down, but even the outs are long and noisy.
This crowd's wanting something to cheer about. I guess the only thing they have thus far are great defensive plays. Cameron going a long ways here. Tino hit that ball a long ways, but not only in this ballpark, but at Yankee Stadium. When you try to go out to dead center, I mean, you got to be a man. That 405 plays bigger than 405 this time of year.
Cameron has got 3 flies today. You add them up, they have traveled over 1,100 feet. So they're getting some swings on Aaron Seeley. Derek Jeter and Tino Martinez combined 0 for 6, and yet the Yankees have a 3-0 lead. But that's Yankee baseball.
And that's Derek Jeter. If you need something, I'll give it to you. If you don't, well, you won't even notice me.
Well, like the 2 spectacular plays that he turned in, really ridiculous plays in the division series against Cleveland. Although he had a good offensive series, he will be remembered for that playoff series because of the glove. Joe Torre says, I look in his eyes and I know which way the game is going to go. He is the heart and soul of the Yankees. The runner goes, put in play by Posada to his right. Boone, and from the fringe of the grass throws him out to retire the side. Seeley walked the leadoff man, but nothing after that, despite a couple of big flyouts to Cameron in center field. The Yankees still lead it 3-0 in game 1 of the league championship series.
3-0 New York here in the bottom of the 5th inning. It was 1-0 New York in the bottom of the 7th inning against Oakland when Derek Jeter took over. The throw missed the cutoff man. Jeter saw that when it left the hand of the right fielder, made the adjustment, made the play. Here we are in the bottom of the 8th inning. Terrence Long, we got to win this game to get to the next level. Well, Derek Jeter takes it to the bottom level of Yankee Stadium, came up with the baseball, and you know, right along with that, it tells you what these Yankees feel about the postseason. Scott Brocious didn't care about what kind of shape Jeter was in. He started yelling, give me the ball. Yeah. The runner was tagging and trying to get to second.
Hey, that's real love.
I'll love you later. Right now, I need the baseball.
What a sick play that was. Well, both of them. On to the bottom half of the 5th inning now. The Yankees up 3-0. Edgar Martinez, the man they call Pops here in Seattle. 0 for 1 today. Andy Pettitte has been tremendous. He has faced a minimum of 12 hitters. The only Yankee, I should say the only Mariner who's reached base, Mike Cameron, with a walk in the 2nd inning. And then Olerud with a double play. Only 46 pitches so far.
You know, with all that's happened offensively for New York, it seems like they've scored a lot more runs than just 3. Edgar Martinez is always on base at least 40% of the time. If he can get on, somebody can bust one. Lou Piniella's team's right back in the game, but they need to do it soon.
Hit sharply and into right, and there's the first hit of the day for Seattle. And wouldn't you know, it would come off the bat of one of the best hitters in the game in Edgar Martinez.
Well, to begin with, Edgar thought about hitting the ball out of the park. If Pettitte were to make a mistake on the inner half, he was ready from the very first pitch. Pettitte came in, but it was not elevated enough. You see Edgar holding up. All right, I got to adjust. You're going to go away this at bat. I'll adjust right along with you. I will go in that direction. And as he's done for the last 5 years with Seattle offensively, he shows them the way. He doesn't tell them the way. Watch what I do. I'll show you.
Edgar, born in New York, but he graduated high school in Dorado, Puerto Rico. Gets his lead at first base as Cameron takes a strike. And until Martinez singled, Cameron the only man who had gotten as far as first base against Pettit.
That's been the biggest difference right there in Mike Cameron in his breakthrough year this year. Not being afraid to fall behind in the count. Even though it's 0-1, you've still got at least 2 more pitches.
1 ball and 1 strike. He did strike out 155 times this season, so something he's going to want to cut down in seasons to come.
Before, when you drive in 110 runs and you score 99,
you can get away with it.
They forget about those strikeouts.
The 1-1 cut on and missed by Cameron, who impressed the Yankees during the regular season, hitting .351 against them, including 3 homers. Trying to get Seattle on the scoreboard against the tough left-hander out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
The conditions have really helped Pettit thus far in the afternoon. It's getting easier and easier to see now, though.
Fly deep to left field, hit well. Knobloch turning around to the wall, leaps, can't get it. It's up against the fence. Martinez had to hold up. He's going to hobble into third base. It's a double for Cameron. He just missed a 2-run home run. And Seattle is in business for the first time today. Martinez unable to score. There's a chance that ball might have been caught, and he's playing with a groin injury to boot.
Well, you just think about what Bernie Williams might have done defensively, what Mike Cameron could have done defensively, or Ichiro. They might have been able to get to this ball and make the play. But as we all know, Knobloch has come from second base. He's doing the best he can. It's not a lack of effort here on his part. He doesn't care about his body, doesn't care about the wall, but he's just not quite able to get there. And I'll tell you, another guy that can't get there is Edgar Martinez. That leg injury has come back up again. Look at him trying to run here. He wants to score, but he just physically cannot.
Lefty now as Olerud takes the ball outside. He has hit into a double play today. During the regular season, he hit into more double plays than any hitter in the American League, 21 of them. But now you've got nobody out and runners at second and third, and it's RBI time for the Seattle first baseman. He drove in 95 during the season. Popped it up, but that'll twist foul and out of play. 1-1.
Well, the Yankees, and in particular their first base coach Lee Mazzilli, noticed exactly the same thing we did. A lack of ability for Edgar Martinez to run. There's a look at Mazzilli. He was pointing to his infielders. On a ground ball hit to you, watch Edgar in third. You might have a play at home. It's going to take a deep sacrifice fly to score him.
That it's sets in the 1-1 pitch. 2 balls, 1 strike. Olerud did not have a career year or even a spectacular one. Ichiro, Brett Boone, Jamie Moyer, they had the spectacular seasons for the 2001 Mariners, but Olerud did post a typically solid season, finding himself back in familiar territory, the League Championship Series for the 6th time. Buhner up next. Olerud, in fact, has been to the ALCS with 3 different teams. Trying to hold up, and he did not. He could not check the swing, according to Charlie Relaford. It's a strike.
Charlie's going to have a tough time getting a dinner reservation in the city of Seattle tonight. That crowd not happy at all with his call. What could have been a 3-1 count and a hitter's count for John Olerud. Now, because of that call, the count's 2-2, and Pettit can attack Olerud in a lot of different ways.
Well, he looked like he checked to me. 2-2. Rounded up the middle sharply. It rises up for Jeter. He has 1 play, and the run will score. Martinez in, and Seattle is on the board. It is 3-1. Cameron advancing down to third.
Dave Olerud just does everything right. Not only does he drive in the run, but he advances the runner to third base with just 1 out. Look at Jeter check at Edgar Martinez. He thought he might have a chance, but when he realized how deep he had to go to get the ball in his glove, he could not get his body in position to make an accurate throw to home.
Boy, Edgar really just pulling himself into home plate. Painful to watch him. The first pitch across for a strike on Buhner was trying to get the Mariners to within one.
Seattle and Olerud in particular just so fundamentally sound. If you make an out on a ground ball with a third baseman there, you might score the run, but you're not going to advance the runner.
Buhner hits it sharply down the line, but foul.
Buhner needs to take a page out of Edgar Martinez's book here. Edgar went to the opposite field. He put the ball in play. Buhner pulled off the pitch in his first at bat in the bottom of the third inning when he struck out. And watch what he's doing again. He wants to hit a homer too bad. You got to put it in play here.
In the hole, 0-2. And it never called strike three. Buhner has seen 6 pitches today. Every one of them has been a strike, although he couldn't believe that one. Eddie Montague ringing him up, and there are 2 away.
Well, it's a great pitch to hit. It's a hanging curveball. Take a look at the location on it. If you're not trying to pull the ball, you don't give up on it. If Jay would have stayed in there, done what Edgar Martinez did, he could have easily just put the head of the bat. Look where that's at. I mean, you dream of getting that pitch to hit, but he's looking in. He wants to hit it out of the park. Well, that's nice to do, but you got to get a pitch to do that with, and thus far he's not.
Pettit going after the catcher Wilson here. Remember, the inning started like it was going to be a big inning for Seattle. Martinez with a base hit. Cameron with the double off the left field fence over the glove of Knobloch. The Mariners have produced 1 run. But if you're Andy Pettit, you get out of this inning with only 1 run against you. You're feeling pretty good. Foul off, and it counts 1-1.
He's put himself in a real good position to do that. Piniella going with Jay Buhner in left field this afternoon instead of a contact guy like Stan Javier. Javier was up there. You'd have to figure the ball was put in play with Cameron's speed. It's a 3-2 game. It's not now.
Won the Yankees, and the 1-1 pitch. Down and away, 2-1, 2 out. Cameron at third. With runners in scoring position in the division series, Seattle had a terrible time of it. It seemed like everybody did in all the playoff series in both leagues with men in scoring position. 2-2.
I was talking to Joe Girardi about Andy Pettit and what his strength is as a pitcher. Girardi, of course, catcher with the Yankees for 3 of their World Series. And he said the key is to command his curveball. Be able to throw it for a strike when he wants, and be able to throw it out of the strike zone, particularly down when he wants to as well.
Cameron leading from third base. Swung on and missed. Wilson down on strikes. And Pettit, despite a bit of a walk on the high wire, strikes out Wilson with a runner at third base. His 4th strikeout of the day. A step-up effort by Andy Pettit. It is 3-1 the Yankees going to the 6th. Back at Safeco Field in Seattle, Washington. And Rick, if we're in Seattle, that has to be the famous Space Needle, built in the 1962 World's Fair. That's a revolving restaurant at the very top. And Rick and I are going to climb it tomorrow. No, we're not actually going to climb anything. Joe Torre has a 3-1 lead heading to the 6th inning. For the first time, his opponent, the Seattle Mariners, is on the scoreboard. Paul O'Neill pulling a foul. He pulled a 2-run homer in the 4th inning.
Well, here's what Joe Girardi was talking about with the command of the curveball for Andy Pettit. He backdoored it to get the called strike. Now watch him expand the zone. He just feeds off the aggressiveness that the Seattle Mariners hitters have here this afternoon. They're normally a much more patient team during the regular season.
Sealy in front on O'Neill, 0-2. And if he gets it, it'll be just the 2nd time today he's retired the leadoff man. Knobloch started the game with a base hit in the 1st inning. Posada led off the 2nd inning with a walk. He also doubled to begin the 4th inning. Justice walked in the 5th inning to start that frame. might be the key to how long Aaron Seeley is going to hang around today, finally getting a hold of the leadoff hitter. 3 runs, 6 hits for the Yankees, 1 run, 2 hits for Seattle. And here's the veteran Norm Charlton, a lefty, getting loose in the bullpen. O'Neill takes the ball, 1-2.
He was just trying to get the runner from second base to third base, but he was able to do even more than that. And he knows when you see Paul O'Neill make contact and look straight down, that ball is gone.
His 10th playoff home run. Breaking ball, he reaches out, swats it into right field. Pretty good professional hitting there from Paul O'Neill. And again, the leadoff hitter reaches base against Seeley. That's been his bugaboo.
Well, I just don't think Lou Piniella can go much further with Aaron Seeley. His team's trying to get back into the game as they did in the bottom of the 5th when they scored a run. The crowd wants to get into the game, but Seeley just not allowing him because of the way he continues to struggle getting the Yankee hitters out. Only had 1-2-3 inning, and that was in the top of the 3rd when, don't forget, Justice started that inning off with almost a home run, just foul.
Just missed one. Hooked it down into the corner. Scott Brosier's up now. He's 0 for 2. Scott, 35 years old. He'll be a free agent when the season ends. He's played 4 seasons in Yankee pinstripes. The first 3 ending with a ring ceremony at Yankee Stadium. Puts down a good bunt. He deadens it into the grass. Olerud gets it. Boone over to cover. Down to second moves O'Neill. And so the Yankees playing some small ball here to get O'Neill into scoring territory.
Well, Joe Torre saying, you know what, Scott Brosier's is struggling. I've seen enough of it. I'm going to help him out here a little bit. Make him feel like he's contributing to the offense a little bit. I'll put on the sacrifice. Just get the bunt down. But you can see where Brett Boone was at there. He was not anticipating that bunt. He had a long ways to go to get over and just barely get the throw in time at first base. The reason he had so far to go was he was cheating towards second base, trying to get a ground ball to turn a double play with. Well, Joe Torre thought the same thing. I'm going to stay on that double play. I'll go ahead and advance the runner and see if some of my other guys can make something happen.
Soriano is 1 for 2, a base hit, 2nd inning. And he has a little bit of power, too. Having hit 18 home runs this season. Well, the National League Championship Series will continue with Game 2 after a spectacular performance by Randy Johnson, the first game to beat Atlanta. Cut on and missed, and it's 0-2.
You just can't count Atlanta out, though. I mean, how many years has it been now where they would follow up a Greg Maddux start with a Tom Glavine start? I mean, right when you think you got him, and okay, we beat Maddux, we can relax a little bit. A left-hander that normally wins 20 games is coming at you.
That's certainly something the Diamondbacks have going these days. The big unit followed by Schilling, or vice versa. The 2 pitch runs up high. 1 ball and 2 strikes. On deck, Chuck Knobloch. The Yankees with 7 hits to the Mariners 2. And New York with a Paul O'Neill 2-run homer as well. And so Lou Piniella's club trailing Joe Torre's team by 2 here. 2-2.
Right along with Charlton, Lou Piniella got Jose Paniagua up and throwing. Because if Seeley were to have any trouble with Soriano here, not retire him, he might make a move to the bullpen. Have a right-hander ready to go. If not, I'm sure Norm Charlton is getting ready for Dave Justice. First left-handed hitter due up in Joe Torre's lineup.
Yeah, if that move occurs, that's 6 batters into the inning. And you know that Seeley is scuffling if he's still out there by the time they lift him for the relief pitcher, the left-hander, for David Justice.
Right along with the Mariner bullpen getting active. You know, those guys over there in the Yankee bullpen are realizing their time and point in the game is coming up real soon. Another inning out of Pettit, maybe 2. And and they'll be up and throwing.
Ground ball right at Ian, who throws on to get it. The runner holding at second base. That's out number 2. Well, coming up later on tonight, as we talked about it, the National League Championship Series, game number 2. Between the Atlanta Braves and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Atlanta going on to the World Series in 1995 with Tom Glavine, a key part of their rotation, as he has been since '91, up against Miguel Batista tonight at 8 o'clock. And we're going to be with you right here from Safeco Field for game 2 of the ALCS tomorrow. Mike Mussina against Freddie Garcia. Garcia going on 3 days rest. The Yankees and the Mariners. Join us right here. Rick and I will be back at Safeco.
Talking with Lou Piniella and Brian Price, the pitching coach, who we see there on the mound, about Freddie Garcia back on 3 days rest. They want him to do that so that he can come back on his normal rest for another start in this series if needed. And the reason they think he can do it is twofold. One, the fact that he's young. Two, he only threw 82 pitches in his previous start.
A key hitter coming up now for Sealy, Chuck Knobloch. The right-hander has not retired the Yankee left fielder today. Knobloch is 3 for 3 with a pair of singles and a double. He flies this one into foul territory. Bell giving chase and can't make the play. Guillen sliding in right underneath him. They almost collided. And it dropped without a catch.
You know, it's not short of a miracle that Carlos Guillen is able to play here this afternoon, but his timing is just off. David Bell knew this was Guillen's ball all the way. He looked over his right shoulder for help, as if to say, where are you at? We got a right-hander interrupt. This is your play all the way. But look at Guillen look down at his third baseman as if to say, well, you need to make the play. That's a much easier play with the angle the shortstop had than the one we saw David Bell trying to attempt.
So another swing forthcoming for Knobloch as he remains in the batter's box to count 1 ball and 1 strike. And of course, Guillen coming off treatment for tuberculosis, which you almost never hear about, which cost him about 2.5 weeks. And to be quarantined initially, lost about 10 pounds. He says he's got most of that weight back. Just wide, 2-1.
Wasn't near as difficult a play the one Derek Jeter made in Game 5 against Oakland. Basically the same kind of play right there. Guillen just not realizing that's his ball to get to.
A base hit here makes it 4-1. Knobloch, a .339 lifetime hitter against Sealy. Gets that one right to Guillen. He steadies and throws him out. Side retired. 1 man left. The Yankees have already stranded 7. They've played 5.5 in the first game of the ALCS. 3-1 New York.
Yankees here in the bottom of the 6th inning as Andy Pettit prepares to go to work. Let's take a look at what we're talking about here. This is Derek Jeter. Look at him going after that baseball. He checks the fence, then he continues to go. He knows, I've got to make this play, and it's much easier for me than it was Scott Brocious because of the angle. Almost the same thing here this afternoon, but with a lot more room to work with. Look at both of the infielders looking at each other. This time of year, you have to want to make a difference, Dave. You can't be afraid to make a mistake. And both of those guys were a little tentative here this afternoon. You don't see that out of Derek Jeter.
Boy, nothing tentative about that dive into the crowd. Indeed, into friendly arms there at Yankee Stadium. But risking life and limb. David Bell 0 for 1 today.
Well, and you also extended the inning where Knobloch, who was already 3 for 3, he gets another hit. Now it's 4-1, and it's just getting late.
Home half of the 6th inning. Pettit has held the Mariners to a couple of hits. Soriano, the fine stuff. Look at that athletic ability. How about the throw to gun a bullet over to first base? 1 down, and nothing routine about this stab by Soriano. Terrific play.
Well, he's already 1 for 3, that being Soriano with the bat in his hands. And David Bell thought he was 1 for 2, and with most second basemen, he would have been. But look at the athleticism, how he gets to it. His body going towards left field, and yet that throw beat David Bell to first base by about 30 feet.
So far, quiet day for the Japanese superstar. 0 for 2. He has grounded to third and struck out.
Yeah, but all year long, he has made things happen in situations like this.
It's interesting, though, the Yankees held him to a rather mortal .286 batting average during the season.
Well, they hadn't seen him. I mean, that's the most remarkable thing about that .350 average. He was facing pitchers, and not just any pitchers, major league pitchers he had never seen before.
Puts it in play, a soft bounder. Soriano gets it. 2 up, 2 down. Ichiro 0 for 3.
Well, he showed tremendous patience on the first 2 pitches. And Pettit just continues to pound him with that cut fastball down. There's the first one he just missed. Watch the movement here. Down and away. He lays off of that. That's the pitch he struck out on in the 4th. But here, he once again expands his zone a little bit. He puts it in play on the ground. But you've got to give the infield defense of New York credit. They're playing so shallow, they can throw him out on those infield choppers.
A lot of infield choppers so far because of the way Pettit is pitching this Mariner lineup. He's recorded 17 outs, and 10 of them have been groundouts. 2 in this inning. You got Guillen on a tapper to second base in the first inning. He's 0 for 2 in his return to the lineup. Carlos is not going to start every game of the League Championship Series. Lou Piniella is going to work him back in with a couple of starts, but we'll probably see Mark McLemore did a very good job filling in for Guillen at shortstop. Another steady veteran. Both of these teams have a lot of them. Pettit looking for a fast inning here. He got him 1, 2, 3 in the first inning. Faced only 3 men in the second and in the third and in the fourth.
And he was already on the mound, ready to throw another pitch. His tempo's been so good.
Struck him out with a swing and a miss. That's the 6th inning. It's the 2nd time he's got them with just 9 pitches. So economy of effort for Andy Pettit, a 16-game winner during the regular season. He's been golden today in Seattle.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in this ESPN program.
In Seattle, it is 3-1. The Yankees, who scored in the 2nd inning on what was a base hit off the glove of Bell, the third baseman. Aaron Seeley had command trouble early in the ballgame, and he grooves this one as O'Neill slugged a 2-run homer to put the Yankees in front. Andy Pettit just brilliant today. 7 strikeouts. He has dominated the #1 hitting lineup in the American League, allowing them just 3 hits. So Pettit through 7 innings in complete command. And the Yankees in pretty good shape going to the 8th. Up 3-1. Rick Sutcliffe, Dave O'Brien from Safeco. Posada will lead off the 8th inning against Charlton. Aaron Seeley lasted the first 6 innings. He gave up 3 runs, 7 hits while walking 3. And he will be the losing pitcher if the Mariners cannot rally, come from behind, and win today. Although they did do that 45 times during the regular season. 45 times. So stay with us. Posada has walked, double, and grounded out today. He's 1 for 2 with a couple of runs scored. Good breaking ball in, and it's 0-2.
This is where the Yankees have been so good at just maybe adding 1 more run. Just put something up on the board to take the sting out of this crowd and keep them where they're at now, which is sitting down.
You saw Shane Spencer, the right-hand hitting outfielder, coming to the on-deck circle. He's going to hit for O'Neill.
And you know, that's the command of respect that Joe Torre has. A guy like Paul O'Neill, he's having a great day. He's hit a 2-run homer. How do you take him out? Well, you're going to have your hands full if you're not consistent in your approach and how you handle everybody. Joe Torre has always been that way.
A 1-2 from the lefty. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Second K in the book for Charlton. But where can you see some of baseball's greatest plays of the week? How do you like to get some tips from the game's best players? Be sure to tune in to Baseball Max. Each week, Baseball Max brings you the excitement and drama of the game of baseball. Upcoming episodes will recap the 2001 playoffs, including the World Series. Baseball Max. Check the TV listing in your country for times and channels. As we go out to a worldwide audience, Lou Piniella goes out to the pitcher's mound.
These two managers aren't going to do anything to surprise either one of themselves. Lou Piniella anticipated this. He had the right-handed reliever ready to go, and that's the matchup Piniella wants.
So it'll be Paniagua to face the right-hand hitting Shane Spencer. And we'll be back at Safeco with Game 1 in a moment. We are into the late stages now. 8th inning. And that is the right-hander Jose Paniagua out of the Dominican Republic. He'll be facing Shane Spencer, who's hitting for Paul O'Neill. One down. Charlton leaving a hill after striking out Posada. 66 innings for Paniagua with 46 strikeouts, and they worked him frequently, 60 times.
It's like the number 4 or 5 man, though, on the totem pole out there in Lou Piniella's bullpen. There are a lot of teams where he could be their number 1 guy, be their closer, if not one of their top setup men. His stuff's that good.
Dip Nelson there, former New York Yankee. Now pitching out of that outstanding Seattle pen. Max Sasaki, the closer.
There's a guy that pitches with the lead. There's a guy that pitches with the lead. Jeff Nelson is another one that pitches with the lead. Charlton and Paniagua just keep it close. Then you've got a couple of other guys, Don Halama, Pinheiro, that will pitch if it's a blowout one way or another for Lou Piniella.
The American League's top-ranked bullpen. And it has been fantastic in the playoffs whenever Lou Piniella has picked up the dugout telephone. But the Yankees had the lead in the 8th inning. And so at this point, Mariano Rivera is the guy who will start to stir soon enough in the Yankee bullpen, and not Sasaki.
The legs loose now and the mind focus. I didn't start working on that right arm yet.
The 2-2 to Spencer. Popped up off to the right, and that'll sail on into the crowd. Mike Mussina against Freddie Garcia in game number 2 tomorrow. Garcia is going to be working on 3 days rest, and if the Mariners fall here, and they are down by 2 in the 8th inning, that's going to present a very interesting scenario, because using a pitcher, indeed their ace, working on short rest, trying to keep the Mariners from going behind in the series 0-2. A high deep drive to right field, but Ichiro in the sun backs up to make the catch. 2 down.
Well, Lou Piniella told us in his pre-game speech that his goal was to get the series back to Seattle. Well, that might be the goal of Joe Torre, is to keep it from coming back. If Piniella can get it back, he'll have Garcia on full rest, ready to go in game 6, and Moyer fully rested for game 7.
Scott Brocious climbs in. He is 0 for 2 with a sacrifice bunt today. Having his difficulties in postseason play at 0.53 average. He's popped up and grounded out. Here are the rest of the starters now, games 2 through 4. Mussina, Moyer, Abbott, Garcia, Hernandez, Clemens.
Moyer with a 20-6 record. Orlando Hernandez with a 4-7 record. That's not postseason records. El Duque has been a big-time performer. We know that he's not at 100%, and neither is Roger Clemens. And I'm sure that's the reason Joe Torre wants them pitching at home. It's a controlled environment, except for when the game starts. And then that crowd just tends to fuel those power-type pitchers, which El Duque and the Rocket are.
Base is empty, and a line shot caught by the leaping Guillen. And it's a fast frame for the Seattle bullpen. They get the Yankees 1-2-3. We're moving on to the home half of the 8th. The Mariners are running out of chances. They trail by 2. Bottom of the 8th, 3-1 Yankees. Time of the MasterCard priceless moment.
This is what happened right here. A double play by Andy Pettitte in a situation where in the past Joe Torre would have gone to Jeff Nelson. But Jeff Nelson's not with the Yankees anymore. He's with the Seattle Mariners. So it was Torre that asked his starter to do a little bit more. Pettitte stuck with the program. He continued to pound that cutter down and in. He got the double play ball, and he continues to pitch here in the bottom of the 8th.
Well, another reason that he stays on for the last half of the 8th, the Mariners' 6 through 9 hitters are a combined 0 for 8 against him today with 3 strikeouts. Olerud does have an RBI. He leads off the 8th, but that came on a ground down. He's also hit into a double play. Olerud, Buhner, and Wilson to bat against Pettitte, who has struck out 7. The Mariners have squeaked out just 3 hits off the New York left-hander. Check swing, and Olerud held it. Charlie Relaford agreeing. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Lou Piniella looking that lineup card over. He knows the numbers, and he likes his bench. He's got Stan Javier, Mark McLemore, some versatility.
A high bounding ball, an easy play for Soriano. And so Pettitte once again gets Olerud, a very tough hitter, to start the 8th inning.
Well, just as Piniella has some options on his bench, Joe Torre has some great options in his bullpen. But there's nothing wrong with sticking with what he's got on the mound right now. This is an overpowering performance here by Andy Pettitte. He's basically made one mistake. He hung a breaking ball to Cameron. Cameron hit it off the left center field wall. But since then, he has just taken the bat out of everybody's hands.
Fouled back by Buhner, who has struck out twice today. He's 0 for 2. And there's Mariano Rivera, who has been as close to automatic in postseason play as anyone has ever been. Just incredible. He's going to start warming up. Check swing foul. Count 0-2. You know, Jay Buhner has not seen a ball today. 8 pitches. Every one of them has been a strike.
Yeah, Andy Pettitte just looks to me like one of those racehorses that gets a sniff of the barn. He knows the barn for him is just get through 8 innings, and if it's a 2-run lead, then it's going to be automatic.
High pop into right. Out goes Soriano. In comes Spencer. 2 down. He continues to mow down the Seattle Mariners. Base is empty, and Dan Wilson will hit.
You can just see the want-to in Pettitte's eyes to get as far into this game as he possibly can. Keep that bullpen fresh. I mean, this is the guy that wants it right here. Stanton's going to get up to throw along with Mariano Rivera, but with one more out, that baseball in Joe Torre's mind will go to Mariano Rivera.
Well, 2 out in the 8th, and he just threw his 98th pitch, so he hasn't even reached 100. But he has gone over 100 wins over the last 6 years. 103 victories. That's the most by any American League pitcher. So more than Clemens, more than Mussina, more than anybody you want to name who has been a superstar pitcher. Wilson is flying to center and struck out right through that pitch, and it's 1-1.
Remember Andy Pettitte back in 1997. He took a line drive off the bat. Cal Ripken off the face. Well, he showed his toughness not going on a disabled list then. He's showing what his toughness.
On this Atlanta pitching staff, 7 among Maddox, Glavine, and Smoltz. 8 seasons of 20 or more wins, and Glavine has 5 of them.
Andy Pettitte. 1, 2, 3 they go once again. On to the 9th. 3-1 the Yankees. Major League Baseball International's presentation of the 2001 American League Championship Series has been brought to you by MasterCard. There are some things in life that money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Rick Sutcliffe, Dave O'Brien from Safeco Field. The Yankees holding on to a 3-1 lead, and it is the 9th inning. With Soriano leading off, then Knobloch and Jeter. The Yankees trying to tack on a couple of more runs and leave no doubt about game number 1. Soriano has had an excellent day in the field. Is also 1 for 3 at the bat with a second inning single that came off Aaron Seeley, who will suffer the loss unless Seattle can rally in the bottom of the 9th. And they will have Bell, Suzuki, and Guillen due up. Hit deep into the left field corner. This ball sailing toward the scoreboard and high off the wall. Soriano takes a big turn. He goes back to first. It's a long single for him, but he's 2 for 4.
Well, he might be happy getting that second hit here this afternoon, but he is going to get an earful when this game is over. He thought he hit it out of the park. He thought he was at Yankee Stadium. It would have been a homer there. Take a look at that.
Oh.
I'm going to be on the highlights tonight. Yeah, you're going to be on the highlights, and people are going to be laughing at you. That is a young mistake that I would be really surprised if you ever see again out of that young man.
Joe Torre not thrilled, and Don Zimmer, his chief lieutenant, also looking on in amazement. I guess that part of what that look signifies from Zimmer also looks like he ate something that didn't agree with him.
He gets that look a lot, but he knows what he's doing, and he knows that the youngster made a mistake. Now, if you're Soriano, you better steal second base, you better do it quick, and you better be safe.
Knobloch indicating a bunt. He's gone 3 for 4, pair of singles, 1 for an RBI, and he's also doubled. So his ALCS off to a raucous start.
That homer by Paul O'Neill so big, though. Lou Piniella can do what Lou Piniella cannot do anything. He's got to watch. Joe Torre can do whatever he wants here. You can do no wrong when you've got the house money in your pocket. You can sacrifice. You can hit and run. Put the steal on.
O'Neill with a 4th inning 2-run blast to right, which put the Yankees in front at the time 3-0. The Mariners' only run came in the 5th. They have been shut down by Andy Pettit. 10 career postseason home runs for O'Neill, who is no longer in the ballgame. But Knobloch is a pitch out, but Soriano not trying to steal there. So the count goes to 2-0. You expect if he's going to take off, and if there is no bunt play here, it would be now.
Well, I would think that the bunt would be taken off here. The one thing I think Joe Torre has a lot of respect for Chuck Knobloch. He's a veteran. He's been there. He's done that. Give him one pitch here to try to do some big damage with. If he's not able to get that done, then you go back to the sacrifice.
Knobloch on base 3 times today, and the leadoff man on again in this inning. And that's been the case often today. More for the Yankees, as you see. The leadoff hitter in an inning. Soriano with a single he thought was worth a home run. He's running now. A swing and a fly into left field. Buhner will come on in toward the line. And there for the grab. 1 gone.
Both these clubs are so fortunate to have managers that have played the game and played it well. They will give you the freedom to try to do some big damage. Watch this swing on that 2-0 fastball. Can't believe he missed it. But I like the fact that Joe Torre would give him that freedom. Take that chance. Because more times than not, Knobloch gets a pitch in that location that he's looking for. He's going to hit it a lot harder than he did that one.
Knobloch 3 for 5. It brings up Jeter with 1 down. Now, Soriano was running when Knobloch popped it up into left. Seattle and the New York Yankees rank 1 and 2 in all of Major League Baseball in stolen bases. These are 2 fast teams, smart base running teams. Seattle number 1 with 174 thefts, and the Yankees behind them with 161. But I think it's an underreported stat that Torrey runs so frequently. Another pitch out. Soriano is going to slide in anyway and steal the base, even with the pitch out. He's just too fast, and he outran the throw.
You're exactly right, Dave, and he stole this base off Paniagua. Dan Wilson, even when he got out there and got the pitch out, knew he had no chance whatsoever. Piniella guesses right, but it doesn't matter. Watch how long it takes. The high leg kick of Paniagua. Look at where Soriano already was. Look at the long stride, the extension. He's gone. It's over with. Even if he looks back, he knows you've got no chance to get me. Now he's where he was supposed to be when he hit the baseball.
Jeter trying to pick him up. Boy, what a giant run that would be for the Yankees. The Yankee shortstop has flied out, popped up, grounded out, and struck out today. He has left 4 men on. That doesn't happen very often for Derek Jeter in postseason play.
Play by Guillen here to come in and tell Paniagua, it's my job to keep him close with less than 2 outs. As a middle infielder, you got to do something that makes that third base coach tell the runner to get back. All right, with 2 outs, then it's up to the pitcher to keep him close. But watch Guillen. He's going to throw rocks at him, dirt at him, yell at him, whatever he can do to keep him there.
Jeter lofts a fly foul out of play, 2-1.
And that's so important for a pitcher to know that it's not your responsibility to keep him from stealing third. It's that middle infielder. All you got to do is check him. And when you see his feet stop, now your focus and your thoughts are on making a good pitch to home, not trying to pick a runner off.
Last fall in the league championship series, Jeter hit .318 against Seattle. He drove in 5 runs. RBI wise, it's been his best league championship series. A step off by the pitcher.
And there's no pickoff play on there, but Guillen saw that Soriano was taken off. He's got the green light. The situation perfect. A slow pitcher on the mound to home plate and a right-handed hitter in the box, which blocks the throw and the view of the catcher to third base.
Fouled away by Jeter, just getting a piece of it. 2-2. David Justice on deck. Seattle trying to keep it 3-1. Mariano Rivera getting loose in the bullpen. He'll be called on for the save by Joe Torre. The second batter into the bottom of the ninth is Ichiro.
Take a look at Guillen there. All right, he just said, go ahead, throw to home. I got him stopped. Don't wait any longer.
Popped up into right center field. Ichiro in on it. 2 gone. Soriano staying put.
And the reason he stayed put was because Carlos Guillen did his job. A lot of times you get to third base with less than 1 out on a fly ball like that. You try to score, particularly with the speed of Soriano. But that's Ichiro out there in right field. That's not just any other outfielder.
Earlier today, he actually did throw a runner out at second base. It should have been the case that he picked up an assist. But because Guillen was not straddling the bag and had to lunge for the base runner, the runner was ruled safe, and correctly so. And Ichiro was denied what would have been a spectacular play through no fault of his own. So here's Justice. He's 0 for 3. He's also taken a ball 4 back in the 5th inning.
David Justice used to have one of the prettiest swings in all of baseball, particularly from the left side. But injuries have kept him from being able to do what he once did. Not able to catch up to good fastballs very often. And Paniagua, as we've seen this afternoon, does have a good fastball.
Dave Justice, one of those guys who seemingly has been around forever because he's always in postseason play with somebody, and he rakes a single into right. Here comes Soriano rounding third. Ichiro throwing home. It's not cut off, in to score. Soriano, and Justice is safe at second base. 4-1 New York. David Justice hustling into second. And Soriano kept screaming around. Remember his stolen base to get him down to second base to begin with.
They're going to high-five him, but they're not as excited as they would be if he would have gotten to second on the ball he hit. But athletically, this kid is as talented as anybody. that the New York Yankees have. He was able to steal second. He was in scoring position. And the Yankees, as they have done so many times this time of year, they just take your heart out. I mean, they just flat crushed this crowd here in Seattle with that last run.
Soriano embarrassed himself a bit by failing to run hard to first base initially when he thought he had driven himself in with a homer. He eventually gets home, though. And here's Bernie Williams floating a foul out of play. A huge run for the Yankees. Now it's a 3-run game. And it's going to take some rally by the Seattle Mariners in the bottom of the ninth against arguably the greatest relief pitcher in the game today when Rivera comes through that bullpen gate. Bernie Williams 0 for 2. He has struck out, flied out, and walked twice. 4-1 New York. A 2-out hit by Justice. The 9th Yankee hit of the day. And the Mariners have managed 3 total hits off of New York pitching.
I think Joe Torre might be wanting one more hit. Put another run up there. It would not be a safe situation. I don't think he'd be afraid to send Andy Pettitte back out there.
The 0-2 fly to center field. Cameron with a play. That's out number 3. The Yankees get another one, though. David Justice driving in Soriano. It is 4-1 New York. We're about to take it to the bottom half of the 9th inning. Bell, Ichiro, and Carlos Guillen due up. We'll see who pitches it for New York. Last call for the Seattle Mariners. They trail the New York Yankees 4-1. We've come to the bottom half of the 9th inning. This guy is essentially Darth Vader on the hill for the New York Yankees.
You know what, Dave, though? It's not only been him. It's been since 1947. That was the last time in the postseason that the Yankees blew a lead, which they've had after 8 innings. They're 150-1 since in 47 they were beaten by the Brooklyn Dodgers. The reason as of late has been Mariano Rivera. This is just his time of the year, and in particular his part of the game.
In the League Championship Series, he's appeared in 12 games in his career. His earned run average, a microscopic 0.47. This topic, foreign-born save leaders as far as postseason career, and Rivera from Panama way at the top of the list with 21 over Jose Mesa of the Dominican Republic.
You just think about how many Sasaki would have had he come over here to the United States before now. You also think about how much more comfortable it would have made Lou Piniella's life with all of the problems they had in that closer role until he got here.
Mark McLemore hitting for Bell. Tries to bunt, pops it up. Rivera snatches it out of the air, 1 away. Well, and you've been held to 3 hits. All that against Pettitte. You'll try anything. McLemore had a fair number of at-bats, 23 at-bats against Rivera. He pops it up.
Yeah, but there's some concern for the Yankees here. Rivera has had some problems with that right ankle, and he looked to have twisted it a little bit there. He was checking it as he got on the mound to make sure there was not too much pain in there for him to push off with.
Joe Torre got a superb effort out of his starter as Ichiro climbs in. He's 0 for 3 today. Andy Pettitte, who goes 8 innings, allowing 3 hits, 7 strikeouts, in command from the first inning. He's given up just 2 earned runs in 14 1/3 postseason innings so far. They're getting great work out of the lefty. Now this left-hand hitter, Ichiro, has grounded out twice and struck out. Looked into left. That's going to fall for a hit. Should be extra bases. Up against the side. Ichiro rumbles into second with a double.
Not only only did he get more hits than anybody else in baseball this year, but he can get hits against the very best, and that's what he just did there. It doesn't get any tougher than Mariano Rivera in the 9th inning in a save situation. Ichiro worked the count. He made Rivera get the ball up so that he could finally get it in the air and keep it off the ground, get it out of that infield.
Stan Javier called on to pinch hit now. The man at second grounds it back to Rivera. He looks Ichiro back to second and throws out Stan Javier. 2 down. That quiets the crowd again. Fred Boone on the way up, but 2 away in the bottom of the 9th.
I remember watching batting practice 2 years ago and standing behind the cage with Don Zimmer and Mariano Rivera in center field running down all of the fly balls. Zim saying he's not only one of our best outfielders, he'd be one of the best in the National League. Just the athleticism of Rivera.
Off the glove of Posada. That one sails to the backstop, so Ichiro will move up.
How big is that run that the Yankees put up in the top of the 9th inning? What a clutch base hit by David Justice. Clutch hitting by Soriano to not only get on, but get into scoring position by stealing the base. That's huge. Otherwise, this would be the tying run at home plate.
Boone 1 for 3. 37 home runs during the regular season. Looks at a strike. And it's 1-1. He drove in 141 runs. But the home run man today has been Paul O'Neill. A 2-run drive in the 4th inning. Ichiro at third, and it's up and in. It's off the catcher. Here comes Suzuki. He scores. And now it's a 2-run game. Posada could not corral it as it ran in and almost hit Boone on the arm. Popping out of the glove of the Yankee receiver. It is 4-2 now.
Dave, I'm telling you, Rivera hurt that ankle. Tino Martinez coming in to check on him, and now Mel Stottlemyre, their great pitching coach, coming out to do the same.
Now that's got to be a pass ball, which has been a real issue with Posada, particularly early in the season. Really struggled with it.
Stan Javier really surprised me in his at bat that he did not try to bunt, as did Mark McLemore, who led off this inning. If for nothing else, just test that ankle of Rivera. Even if he's able to make the play, if he hurts it anymore, maybe he can't pitch, and what a difference that would make in this series. You see how he gets off that back leg a lot quicker than he normally does. There's some pain in there, and this could be big before this series is over with.
Well, the Mariners had a team motto, 2 out, so what? Really put to the test here. Swing and a miss. Boone going for the downs there, but it moves to 2-2. The Yankees tied him up during the regular season. He hit just .229 against him. Rivera trying to do it here. It's 3-2. 47,644 at Safeco. Trying to will the Mariners to a comeback, and it's inside for ball 4. So here with 2 down in the bottom of the 9th inning, Seattle has a chance. They have a heartbeat against Rivera. The tying run is coming to bat.
More than just a tying run, it's Edgar Martinez, who has not only been the best designated hitter in the history of baseball. His numbers against Mariano Rivera are ridiculous. 10 for 13 with 2 homers.
He takes strike 1. Rivera went right after him with the first fastball. Edgar today is 1 for 3 with a single and a pair of strikeouts. He has the home run power to tie it with 1 stroke. Breaks his bat. A looper on the infield. The flip over to the pitcher Rivera, and the ball game is over. And game 1 of the ALCS goes to the boys from the Bronx. The final score 4-2 the Yankees.
David, would not surprise me if every single game in this series is just like this, where the tying or go-ahead run is at home plate when it ends, and it wouldn't surprise me if it goes 7 games.
4 runs, 9 hits for the Yankees, 2 runs on 4 hits for Seattle. Andy Pettitte, brilliant in the victory today. He gets the win, defeating Aaron Seeley. Here's the last out, a broken bat. Edgar Martinez lost 3 bats today. Just a gentle ground ball to the right side, and that was it. Pettitte picks up the W. And now it's time for our Pepsi play of the game.
We got to go back to the top of the 4th inning after a double by Jorge Posada, in which he would have been thrown out at second. The call was not made. The tag was not there. Paul O'Neill just trying to pull the ball to get Posada to third base with less than 2 outs. Did even more than that. He drove him in. He touched home plate. And the bottom of the lineup for the Yankees was the difference this afternoon.
Once again, your final score in Game 1 of the 2001 ALCS. The New York Yankees 4, the Seattle Mariners 2. Pettitte gets the win, and in postseason play, he's 1-1. Rivera picks up his 3rd save. Certainly the Mariners had the man they wanted at the plate, given the way that Edgar has hit against Mariano Rivera. But the game ended on a soft ground ball. Join us for NLCS game number 2 coming up tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern time. The Atlanta Braves and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Arizona, after that gem by Randy Johnson yesterday, leads their best of 7, 1-0. And of course, we hope you'll join us for game 2 of the ALCS. The Yankees and the Mariners will be right back at Safeco Field. 8 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow. The Yankees trying to take a 2-0 lead over the Seattle Mariners, who won 116 games during the regular season. We certainly enjoyed game 1 of the ALCS.